I have been gone for a while, haven't I? I'm still here, I'm not dead, and I'm hoping to get back on a regular release schedule pretty soon. Where have I been? That's the question for today's video. I know it seems as though I've abandoned this channel, but I've not. It's just that a lot has happened in the last 6 months or so, and I simply have not had the time or energy to keep up with the channel for a while. But I'm here, I'm back, and hopefully we'll be getting on a regular release schedule very soon. But for now, this is all I got. So, where do I start? I wanted to say thank you all to everybody who's been sticking around, and I have been keeping up with all your comments and messages to the best of my ability. And, I've still been here the whole time, just unable to record or upload. So, if any of you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I'm still pretty active there. And, I just haven't been able to record or make any videos for my channel for a long time. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So I guess I'll just give you a quick rundown. The biggest obstacle was started around, I want to say February, might have been late January, I think. January, February, March, something like that. I can't even remember now. But we were on the verge of making our biggest contract to date, a $50,000 contract, which is big for a family-owned business like us. I work for my father's business, as most of you know. And we were on the verge of that contract, and we were putting together our quote and everything was pretty much settled that we were to start the job in the next few weeks. And this was around late January, I think. And we were getting all of our ducks in a row, so to speak. And it was a weekend, Saturday. I was out with my girlfriend. We were out shopping when my father and brother were driving our truck and work trailer home from a job, one small job they had to do that weekend, when someone in the right lane, they were in the left lane, the guy in the right lane started coming towards their trailer. And so my dad honks the horn, and this startles the guy who's clearly not paying any attention to his vehicle, and he swings the wheel all the way to the right, which sends him flying off the side of the highway. And he then panics and swings it back the other way, comes shooting back on the highway, and slams directly into the side of our trailer, which sent the truck into the highway divider barrier at about 60 miles per hour. So my father and my brother were both okay, for the most part. There were no major injuries or anything. They walked away from it. But that car was totaled, the truck was totaled, and the trailer was damaged. I'll say it was very badly damaged, but it was still salvageable, thankfully. The equipment was all intact. Everything was, in fairly good shape still, but the trailer had a bent axle, and both tires on the right side of the trailer were popped, and the right fender was smashed in, as well as some of the trailer framing was bent a little. The truck's whole front end was smashed in, and it actually blew a chunk out of the divider barrier as it spun, and it blocked every lane. It kind of landed at with the trailer this way and the truck this way at a 90-degree angle to each other, kind of blocking the entire highway. and thankfully nobody else struck them while they were in that situation. But yeah, the truck was completely totaled. It was the engine, I believe, was smashed beyond repair, and thankfully all the airbags did their job. And side curtain airbags and everything. It was a 2016, I think, 2016 Silverado, so it was a pretty safe vehicle. Um, Thankfully, nobody was in the back seat because the back seat in that truck was very far from safe. Because normally I would be riding the back seat, and had I been, I would have been sent face first into the back of the passenger seat. So I'm glad I wasn't there, to say the least. That couldn't have ended well because there are no airbags in the back seat. But yeah, this obviously left us in a pretty bad situation because without a truck to pull our trailer, and with the trailer so heavily damaged, we had a lot of work that needed done, and we also needed a new truck before we could get back on the road. So this happening before that large contract left us in a very bad situation because we had already received, we had already basically been, the job had been scheduled and it had all been set up and it was ready to go until this happened. So we had to postpone. Thankfully, they were understanding. We had to postpone that for a while. We managed to repair the trailer, bent a little bit of metal back into place, replaced the tires, and replaced the axle, and the trailer was structurally still sound, thankfully. And thank God, my dad has pretty good credit and was able to finance a new truck within the next few weeks after the accident. But he had his neck was in pretty bad shape. I can't remember the full extent of his injuries, but I believe he has like a severed disc or something in his spine. He already had back issues from when he was younger, so it obviously this was a very heavily exacerbated. That issue was definitely the last thing you want to happen when you already have a damaged back. So he's currently looking at, his doctors are currently recommending surgery to fuse the blades in his neck and to possibly replace discs in his lower back as well. But my brother got out fine. He went through a little bit of physical therapy, but besides that, he wasn't injured or anything, just minor muscle damage, muscle tearing, and stuff like that. So we finally got everything put back together, got back on the road, and got back in the swing of things. But obviously, that shook our life up pretty badly because for a little bit there, for the first few weeks, we weren't sure if we were ever going to be getting the business back on the road. It looked like the trailer was much more damaged than it was. We weren't sure that getting another truck was going to be an option. So, without dwelling on that story too long, shortly after we did get everything back on the road, going, and settled everything back down, and we're okay now. Everything's doing fine. We're supposedly going to settle the court case pretty soon. It's not a court case, actually. Sorry, the insurance claim pretty soon. So that'll be good to finally get off our backs. And we did manage to get working on that contract, and we're actually just now, it should be next week, or this week, as of the video's upload, that we'll finish that contract. So it was postponed quite a bit, and it took us a very long time to finish. Being our biggest contract ever, that was a big factor in why I've been gone so long. Because I was working, like I said, our biggest contract yet. And with my dad out of the field, he doesn't work anymore. He's now an office guy, basically. A lot of more work fell on my shoulders and my brother's. So I've been basically busting my ass, like 10, 12 hours a day ever since. But we managed to get everything done for the most part. They're closing up their contract pretty soon. Thank God. So I'll have a lot more free time, and I'll be able to upload and record a lot more soon. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy few months, 6 months or so, and yeah. But the one thing that made it the hardest was that a few months ago, my girlfriend, who has an anxiety disorder, um, had a fainting spell in the shower. And the problem with that was that one of the things that originally set off her anxiety years ago was that she had pneumonia, and at one point she fainted, and she fell in such a way that her neck was compressed and she wasn't breathing. And the doctor said, had her mother not found her, it was her mom found her a few moments later. She heard the noise. She said if her mother hadn't been there, then she probably would have died. So she obviously developed a fear of fainting or passing out from that. So fainting in a shower was a pretty scary experience, and I'd like to say first, that she's okay. She doesn't have any underlying mental conditions, health conditions or anything. She's doing fine, but she had to go back on her meds for a while. It took a while to, because it kind of messed her up pretty bad, I guess, because she started to be afraid of being alone. Because, like I said, she would think of that time that she passed out, and she was so afraid that, now having passed out again, she thought it could happen any moment, So she didn't like being alone. She didn't like taking showers. She didn't like heat or humid environments, which is tough because we live in Florida. So we were dealing with that for a while. Her anxiety got so bad that she was basically staying home and in bed for most days. And she's gotten through it. She's doing great now. But for a while, that made things really tough because basically I had to help her a lot and, help take care of her while working as much as I was, and also dealing with the aftermath of the accident, which wasn't really an accident. It was just one idiot on the highway. So, yeah, with all that happened and everything that's been going on, things have been just a mess for the last 6 months or so, but it's all, coming together now. We're all doing well. Everyone's all right. And I'm happy and healthy. And, I'm back, and I'll be making more videos soon. I have something planned that I will be recording hopefully this week, or maybe even this weekend if I can. And I'm excited to start bringing content back regularly. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with Patreon, if I'm just going to cancel it or if I'm going to attempt to fully catch up. Either way, I'm going to make sure that any patrons that I may or may not still have will be thanked and rewarded appropriately. But as always, thank you all so much for spending this time with me. Thank you for listening to my incoherent late night rants. And I'll see you all really soon. So good night. Lovely children.